The iron never lies. The mirror never lies. And the day you stop making excuses, that day your whole life changes forever. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not just a story about muscle and sweat. It's a story about a human being who had absolutely nothing and turned that nothing into everything. If you're watching this right now, maybe you're tired, maybe you feel stuck, maybe you think your circumstances are too small for your dreams. Good, because that's exactly where this story begins. Act 1, the beginning, nothing but bones and hunger. His name doesn't matter. What matters is that you recognize him. He grew up in a small apartment where the walls were thin and the refrigerator was often empty by the end of the month. His father worked double shifts at a factory. His mother counted coins before every grocery trip. There was love in that home, real, fierce love, but there was very little comfort. No gym memberships, no protein shakes, no coaches, no inheritance of athletic greatness. He was skinny, not the fashionable kind of skinny you see on magazine covers, the kind of skinny that made people ask, "Are you eating enough?" at family dinners? The kind of skinny that made him avoid mirrors. He weighed 58 kilograms at the age of 17, standing 180 centimeters tall. He looked like the wind could carry him. But inside that thin chest, a fire. Aristotle once wrote, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. He didn't know Aristotle back then. He just knew that every time he felt humiliated, every time a bully laughed, every time a girl looked past him, every time a coach said, "You're not built for this," something inside him whispered, "Prove them wrong." And so, at 17, with no money and no plan, he did the only thing he could. He found a rusty pull-up bar in a local park. He used it every single morning. Act 2, the first steps, sweat without a stage. No gym, no equipment, just concrete, iron, and determination. He woke up at 5:30 a.m. every day before school. In winter, his breath formed clouds in the frozen air as he gripped that cold metal bar and pulled himself up, once, twice, 3 times before his arms gave out. He fell, he got up, he fell again, he got up again. He discovered bodyweight training through a borrowed library book, its pages worn and dog-eared by previous readers. He did push-ups on the kitchen floor while his family slept. He did lunges in the hallway. He counted every repetition like they were coins he was saving for something priceless. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The poverty was not his prison. The poverty was his training ground. After 6 months, he could do 20 pull-ups without stopping. His shoulders had started to take shape. His arms, once stick-thin, now carried the first suggestions of definition. People began to notice. Not everyone believed in him. Most didn't, but a few did. A neighbor who had once competed in regional powerlifting saw him training in the park one morning and stopped to watch. "You've got something," the old man said. "Come to my garage. I have weights." That garage changed everything. Act 3, the climb, iron, pain, and philosophy. The garage smelled like oil and old rubber. There was a bench press held together with welded patches, a set of mismatched dumbbells, and a squat rack that groaned under every load. To him, it was the most beautiful place in the world. He trained there 4 evenings a week, and he studied. Not just training, he studied nutrition from free online resources, from old fitness magazines he found in second-hand shops, from conversations with anyone who knew more than he did. He ate rice and eggs and canned tuna because that was what he could afford. He slept 8 hours because he learned that sleep was when the body actually grew. He failed constantly. He injured his rotator cuff at 19 and couldn't press for 3 months. He thought it was over. He cried, real tears, alone in his room, and then he came back and trained his legs with obsessive focus while his shoulder healed. When the shoulder recovered, his legs were pillars. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." He lived that sentence. He breathed it. He tattooed it on his forearm at 21, his first act of declaring to the world, "I will not break." At 20, he scraped together enough money for his first official gym membership. It was a local sports club with cracked tiles and a locker room that smelled of ambition. He didn't care. He belonged somewhere now. He had a community. He had weights that actually matched. He entered his first local bodybuilding competition at 22. He placed 5th out of 8. 5th! He walked off that stage with his heart hammering and his hands shaking, not from shame, but from the electrifying realization, I belong here. This is real. Act 4. The darkness before dawn. Doubt and sacrifice. Between 22 and 25, he lived in what athletes privately call the valley. That brutal middle space where you've committed too much to quit but haven't achieved enough to feel certain. His friends were getting office jobs, buying cars, going on vacations. He was meal prepping chicken breast at midnight and spending his weekends at competitions where he sometimes placed, sometimes didn't.
That partnership transformed him. Act 5. The breakthrough, the stage, the lights, the moment. At 27, he stepped onto a regional championship stage. He had prepared for this for 16 weeks with surgical precision. Every gram of food calculated, every training session logged, every night of sleep protected. He had dieted down from 94 kilograms to 82, revealing musculature that looked carved from marble, shoulders like cannonballs, a back that spread like eagle wings, legs that thundered with every step. The lights hit him, and in that single suspended moment, under those bright stage lights, with the crowd's noise washing over him like a wave, all those cold mornings at the park bar, all those nights of rice and tuna, all those tears in his room, all those hours in the garage and the warehouse and the gym, they collapsed into a single perfect point of meaning. He won first place. He stood on that podium and thought about his mother counting coins. He thought about the old man with the rusty garage. He thought about every person who had looked at his skinny teenage body and seen nothing. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." What was within him had always been there. The iron just revealed it. Act 6. The dream realized, gratitude and grace. Today, he coaches young athletes. He has his own small gym, nothing extravagant but real. On the wall, he hung that first rusty pull-up bar from the park. Some people think it's decoration. It isn't. It's a reminder. He posts videos. He gives seminars. He tells people the truth. The supplements matter less than the sleep. The program matters less than the consistency. The genetics matter less than the decision to begin. He is not the biggest bodybuilder in the world. He never competed at the highest international level, but he built something that cannot be measured in kilograms or trophies. He built a life shaped entirely by his own hands. He is grateful, not with the polished, camera-ready gratitude of someone performing thankfulness, but with the deep, quiet gratitude of a person who knows exactly what they came from and exactly what it cost. Every morning, he still wakes early, he still trains, he still feels that fire. Because Epictetus was right. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. His luck was never money. His luck was never connections or genetics or circumstance. His luck was his body, and he never wasted it. So here is your question, viewer. Here is the only question that matters today. What is your iron? What is your rusty pull-up bar? What is the one thing you keep returning to, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. Maybe it's not bodybuilding. Maybe it's a craft, a skill, a business, a relationship, a dream you've been carrying since you were 17 and too afraid to say out loud. Whatever it is, start. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect. Start with what you have, where you are, as you are. The philosopher Albert Camus said, "In the middle of winter, I at last discovered that there was in me an invincible summer." You have that summer inside you. The iron, whatever form it takes in your life,